Where's the sound? Oh, jeez. Gonna get this right one of these days.
It will happen.
Yeah, we've got
It
the
will be
sound for
seamless
us
after
and
a
not
while.
the sound for the intro. Well, I really wanted to give some context for the book marketing game, so I tried to do that intro, and it played with the sound before we were streaming. So once again, we are not the best at streaming, but we're getting there. We're learning. So, book
We're allowed
marketing.
to make it work. It's okay.
This is the progress over perfection philosophy of life, and I think that we are pretty good at that. I know I'm pretty good at that.
I'm working on it. I still beat myself up when I'm not perfect, even though I don't actually believe perfection is possible.
Yeah, it's funny how we have different standards for ourselves than others, and in some people's case, I guess they have higher standards for others, but I think for us, we have higher standards for ourselves than we do for others.
I think that's probably the crux of the problem.
Yeah. But we are here bright and early on a Monday morning to start our week off right and get some book marketing in. And I have a little success story to tell you. So,
Ooh.
you know that I have been, last week my book marketing bingo was focused on my short summer read. Why is there a truck beeping outside my house?
It doesn't matter.
My short summer read, Kindle Unlimited romance that is like kind of a good introduction to me. And I discovered after doing several shorts on TikTok that it was not enrolled in Kindle Unlimited the way it was supposed to be. And this was not user error on my part. There was no way to do it. And I was looking at Reddit posts and I was looking at like what's wrong. So I ended up writing to Amazon support. And they couldn't figure it out either, the first tier level. So that's why I know it wasn't me. That it's just like, it's like, it says, it appears like it is in all the back end stuff, but then in the front end it's not. So they escalated it, it got fixed, and I have a result. Look at that, 000, and whoop! 27-page reads on a 35-page book. I feel like that is a book marketing bingo success.
I agree. And it's funny how when you do things like this, you do start paying attention to
Yeah, it's like how long
it's broken.
how long has this book been supposed to be in Kindle Unlimited and not been? And if I hadn't been doing it this week, I would not have realized. So that is, yeah, another side benefit of doing these things and paying attention to these things.
I mean, that is really weird. So they don't know why or how.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, these things
was
happen.
it initially in there? Do you know?
I think so. I honestly have a lot of books and a lot of different things going on with all of them, which is, you know, a good problem to have. I can't remember if I had initially set it up in there and changed my mind. I think I had an idea that I was going to go wide, but then it was like, oh, I don't have the time and the energy to actually upload all of these to other platforms, so never mind. But it was like, I can't even tell if it's working. Is it in KU? Because when you go in the back end and you say, okay, do a promotion, then it says, well, to do a promotion, it has to be in KU. And I'm like, okay, but isn't it? Is it? Is it not?
You
There was no
didn't
button
even
to
have a way
press.
to eyeball check it.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I mean, I guess now I kind of realize what it was supposed to look like on the Amazon page, and it was not looking like that. It didn't have the, like, read this for free if you get Kindle Unlimited message on it. But there was, like, no checkbox, no, everything was grayed out as though it was already there, but it wasn't.
Okay.
Super weird. These
So
things
in
happen.
light of that information, are you thinking of promoting your fiction again this week, or are you thinking of doing your nonfiction?
I am on a roll with the fiction. I know that you had suggested to just do it like once a month and focus on the nonfiction, but I want to give the nonfiction a little time to breathe. I'm feeling like there's something weird about the fact that it hasn't been. I mean, I've gotten 2 sales now of the book, which is, it's fine. It's kind of expensive. But I have that, I'm doing the deal the Kindle promotion thing in July, so maybe I'll wait and like do a lot of promotion of that then. But I'm feeling so energized and excited about the fiction stuff again, because I lose my focus for one thing, I pick it up somewhere else. So that's where my mind's at. I definitely want to promote fiction, but I want to promote a new lead magnet.
That sounds exciting.
Yeah, so I want to do the first 2 chapters of this new book that I've been working on that will lead into like a pre-order for it. And it's almost mostly ready. So I got to finish up writing it today and get it available and set up on the back end to deliver. And then I'm going to ask for book marketing activities that will promote that. Yeah, and I want to watch that playback too of the like how to market on Goodreads from Alessandra Torre.
You know, I watched some of that. It was very interesting. It did make me go into my Goodreads account, which I went in the app and it's just a nightmare. So I went in through the, desktop and, you can see more stuff.
Yeah.
I set mine up a really long time ago.
Yeah, same.
And back when I was serious about it, and they were kind of serious about helping authors.
And that was before Amazon bought it. Like, yeah, we were both on there a long time ago. There's another one too. There's the Story Graph, which is kind of a similar idea. So I've been...
Yeah, I joined that when I heard about it, and I haven't really gotten into that either. Because I have my own idea for how I want this to work, I'm always full of criticism for how it actually works. And
you just need someone to develop a new app that is like, this was created by authors for exactly what authors want. Put your son on that. That'll be his like side project.
Well, so, I shouldn't say this on Twitch, and I really don't want this to happen, but, he's in the game industry, and the game industry is very volatile. So if he were to happen to, lose his job and take a couple of months to find a new one, I would probably want him to be developing this full time for me, because I really want to turn it into a game. I want it to play like Pokemon. I mean, not exactly like Pokemon, but I want people to like want to go into it every day, connect with their books, connect with authors they might be interested in connecting with. I want them not to feel marketed to at all. I like when you go into a library, you do not feel marketed to. When they have like their new release section, it doesn't feel marketed to. It feels like, oh, look what we discovered. Look at the new stuff. It's so cool. It feels like sharing, and I wish the apps could feel like that. I personally think it's a design failure, just people aren't processing it, because we've done it. Like, I think most reading apps look like a card catalog instead of like actually walking into the library or the bookstore. But the bookstore is marketing to you, but the library, they just want you to connect with the books, right? And that is what I want to create digitally.
Yeah.
Can I do it? I don't know. But anyway, I have tried out Storygraph, and Goodreads I think is still high, but I did notice Alessandra was saying, like 1.4 million readers, and Goodreads used to have a lot more readers. So
yeah, that doesn't sound like that many actually.
So I'm like, I wanted to do some research on that, and I didn't. But yes, for Goodreads, that should be fun. And I think there's an exciting thing for you. Besides adding in your lead magnet, is also just like for your list to mention to your list. I didn't realize this had gone off of Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah, good idea.
In case you didn't have a chance to check it, it's back on. I would definitely do something.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah.
All right. So pull up your marketing thing. And one of the things we were discussing is, if you have specific ideas on what you want to do, can you feed it in and still get a nice card? So that's what you're going to try today, right?
Is it? Okay. So,
Because you have two specific things, right? Your goal
yeah, it is very specific. That's true.
is to like get readers to see your lead magnet, your new lead magnet, which is always readers always like new things, right?
And I wonder if we
And
can.
then,
Oh, sorry. You go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, and also to just, pimp that summer book. It's like the fact that it's in Kindle Unlimited, right? I'm sure because of being in Kindle Unlimited, you have a lot of Kindle Unlimited readers on your list. So it's like just a really good way to get them to go look at your page and see what you've got available.
Yeah, and it's a good way for new readers to check you out without too much risk. If they've already got the membership, it doesn't really matter if they add it in and check it out and just give it a chance. So, yeah, I might do
Don't
more.
forget to ask for a review.
Oh, yeah. I should put that in the back matter. Do I have it in there? I don't remember. I'll have to check my
Because
Atticus.
that's a really good sign that the minute you put it back into KDP, somebody got it and read it.
I mean, I have been getting such views on these TikToks. I am really
And they're
pleased.
so great. I mean, I love the summer read TikTok. I love it.
So, like,
The beach.
I've got this one, like, it's just, it's all focused on the drama. I've got these ones about the times it wrecked me, even though I wrote it. But hey, it can still wreck you. That's why you wrote it. This one that has a little scene. This one about how he's a good book boyfriend. Like, all of these are brand new. And they're not making huge numbers on TikTok, but they are making pretty big numbers on my YouTube.
Yeah, which is interesting, isn't it? You never know. It's like you try and predict.
Yeah, it's different on every
And then it's like,
platform,
nope.
like dramatically so. And people that they use that as like, oh well, see, if you put a link in it, it works here. And no, it's not. It's like, I don't know if it's random, but it sure feels random. So let's see.
I don't think we have enough data to know if it's random.
So
But
look
I
at
know
that,
what you mean.
1.7 thousand views. I just
And that's
rearranged
in
this so
under
I
a
can't
week,
see the
right?
new ones, but where's the latest one? Here we go. 700 views, 600 views, 400 views, 1.7K. There was another big one somewhere, but anyway. And you can see my normal views are not quite that high usually, like 71, 30, 55.
And that's something to learn, right? But
So,
maybe those aren't as successful, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't do them, right? Because when someone goes on to TikTok, they tend to look at a couple of things you've done.
yeah, and I think I'm improving. I think I'm learning how to get those hooks better and things like that too. So let's see what happens if I just start typing instead of starting with the question. This week I want to promote a new lead magnet for my fiction upcoming romance novel. To break is the first two chapters. It's coming out late August. It is here is the description.
Oh, you are sharing your screen. Never mind.
Okay, good. Whew.
I'm like, okay,
All right,
I'm
let
still
me
getting used to Twitch. That's all I'll say.
grab the. Oh, yeah. How long is it going to take us to be getting used to Twitch? My goodness. Grab the description just because that will be easier than trying to explain what it is.
And we talked about maybe setting a goal here where we could when we're actually sharing.
Yeah, like how many
progress and stuff.
downloads do I want to get? How many people are on my list? Didn't I look at that recently? And completely forgot. Okay, let me go look.
Oh, it's good. So it's not going to let you forget anything. It's thinking about all of this.
Isn't that
Who's your
amazing?
target reader? Where do readers hang out online?
Ooh, I have 2 new signups for my Ruth newsletter, June 7th and June 8th.
Okay.
So let's
So
see.
sometimes solving problems you didn't even know you had can be profitable.
Who knew? This is why we check our funnels. Okay, so I have 215 on my list. So let's see. Target reader is women who like crunching emotional romance that still has a happy ending. TikTok, YouTube, Reddit. Let's see if I put Goodreads in there, if it comes up with any ideas. My email list is 215 people right now. Do you have any existing media assets or collaborators? What is your marketing goal for the lead magnet? Well, one would think, but I guess, okay, these are all fair goals for a lead magnet, but email list. And then, do I want to go wide or go deep? I always go wide. And it even has a suggestion to do the 1,000 views across. So I'll say go wide. Let's see. Oh, I forgot. Let me go back. That's better. We'll create a which romance trope is this teaser poll? Guess the trope challenge. Huh. Okay. Post game, the main character's carousel. Okay. Ooh, printable bingo card layout. It hasn't offered me that before.
Yeah, it's going to offer you something kind of weird. I think I played around with that this week.
See, Kelly created this, so she surprises me with new things. I'm actually not sure if I want all of these. I might do some more tweaking too.
Yeah.
What would a which romance trope is this teaser poll actually like?
I'm always interested in those teaser polls. I think readers kind of like them. Have you tried many of those with your readers?
No. What exactly makes it a teaser poll? Is that a particular thing?
So I guess you're giving them a little bit of a flavor of your book, right? But you're getting them to actually think about it, right? So like Like, what would be a good teaser poll for this summer read book that you have, that you're featured last week? Like, it would be something simple like, maybe, what do you like in your, your beach read? A little bit of sand, so that it's kind of gritty. A little bit of,
Okay.
I don't know. But you would choose things that your book is, right?
Yeah. All right, let's see if it can help me understand which romance trope is this would look like. A short emotional snippet from the lead magnet, paired with subtle background music. Okay. The question is,
like that. That would be interesting to try.
Which trope is this? Huh.
Second chances, neurodiverse love. Oh, it's going to be all of them, right?
Well, it's not second chance because they haven't met before. It's not neurodiverse.
But he's having a second chance.
But he's having a second chance at life.
Well, but also at romance. I mean, that's one of the things. When you're dealing with a health crisis, you forget that part of your life. You're like, that's over, right? Nobody's going to want to go through the problems I'm going through.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Okay. It is a little different than what you normally think of for second chance.
Yeah. So I might tweak these to make one of them the actual clear answer, but is this a trope, caregiver romance? I mean, I guess it's kind of part of the hurt, comfort, sort of nursing back to health kind of area, but okay.
Yeah, I actually would say caregiver romance. I mean, I listen to a lot of audiobooks through my library, and what was there was a JoJo
Moyes.
I can't remember.
The Me Before You?
Yes. She might have started that trope or blasted it off the planet.
I will attempt not to get on my soapbox and complain about that book.
Well, you don't have to, but it is a bestseller, and it was edited by a traditional publisher, and they're always way more cautious. Like, when you're independent, you can give the readers what they really want without, dumbing it down, essentially.
Yeah. Do you think that authors like myself who write disabled characters get a little extra boost from people's subconscious ableism? Because I notice a lot of reviews for books that have disabled characters. It's like, it almost is like it doesn't matter whether the book is well written, because the reviews are like, oh my goodness, you actually touched on this, and this heartwarming, inspirational, you actually have characters that, and it's like, okay, but is the story good? Is the writing good? It's like they're just so impressed with you for just having a disabled character. You think that happens?
I don't know, because they're probably not saying, this story is crappy, but at least it has this, right? I think they just appreciate, it's what you call out, right? When someone cuts their hair, you're like, oh, you got your hair cut when you see them. It's just a natural reaction. The first thing you notice, the big thing, is what you point out.
Yeah, so right? It's not necessarily bad, but...
And also, you're calling it out as a reviewer or a person, you're calling it out in encouragement. Hey guys, this is here. Or if you're just talking to the author, hey, thank you for doing this. Do some more.
Yeah, I guess that is true. Yeah.
So I don't know that it's ableism as much as sometimes a recognition that if you love these stories and you don't see very many of them.
Yeah.
Ableism, I think, shows its face when people are unhappy that the character does not get completely fixed.
Okay. Yeah.
Or when they're some traditional publishers are with, books like this, where they don't want to show all the reality of it.
Yeah. Which is, again, kind of strange for the Me Before You, because that ending, that's not a romance. And it's been out long enough. I don't think I'm spoiling anything to say that that's a really, really negative, out of nowhere kind of ending. So kind of
I
surprising.
give all books their potential. It's like, and I will say that, she has literary pretensions and, or aspirations, maybe I should say. So people with literary aspirations really, really do not like to leave the book on a positive note. They like to leave it. I mean, the positive. It's like if you ever read an Oprah book, it's like terrible, 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 terrible. Surviving. Some heartwarming stuff, or you wouldn't keep reading it. And then at the end, it's like tiny, tiny glimmer of hope for the future, and that's supposedly, because literary people, rationality and logic doesn't trust that good things are going to happen. So
That is such a good point. Yeah. Having gone
so
through like,
I mean, I do feel that's pressure, but as indie authors, you
yeah,
don't have that pressure.
that is so true. Yeah. If you want it to be literary and meaningful and like true to life, then it's got to be negative. Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise the reviewers, because I mean, a lot of times, and I don't know that authors do this as much. After a while, they probably do, but to be eligible for prizes, you've got to go through a gauntlet of skeptics.
Yeah.
I mean, really, the reviewers who review literary fiction are not going to say, I loved it, it was great, right? They're looking for the flaws. They're looking for, I mean, that's part of where they build their reputation. And so, and they're also looking for something that's going to last forever.
Yeah,
It
the
has deep,
classic, the
deep
great
meanings.
American novel that we all started out. I mean, I can't say you all, but I definitely started out in that mindset of like I have to write like something that's a classic that lasts forever, that speaks to the meaning of life. And I went through writing school, and it was like, oh, genre.
Well,
They
exactly,
really do.
exactly. Happily ever after. That doesn't happen very often. It's like, well, we all do die.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I used to really like those literary, heavy, dark books. I read Crime and Punishment when I was 13 because I found it on my dad's bookshelf. I read Catch 22 at the same time. I read Great Expectations. Like, I was, first of all, a very pretentious child, but also, like, very much in that mindset. And I feel like now that I'm middle aged, I want the escapism. Real life is harsh, I've been through it. Like now my reading, I don't want to read about how like life sucks. I want to have the fantasy and the enjoyment and escape from this brutal world for a few minutes.
I like to think I like pretty much all kinds of stories except, stories that are just so miserable, right? The characters are so miserable. And they don't add a value in the world. It's like, I don't want to spend too much time with people like that. But what I see, like, I hate that people dismiss things as being escapism or a light read, because even a light even a light read might be what you're looking for to kind of lighten your own personal burden.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, in our lives, we have lots of moments that are entertaining and fun and wonderful and still uplifting. I mean, my grandkids provide me with things like that all the time. The dog got out yesterday, and so we had a near tragedy. We had a celebration when we rescued the dog. It's like, there was no, I mean, obviously it could have gone another way, but there was no heavy, deep, but it was still very much life, very much something, that I'm thinking, how do I put this in a book?
Yeah. I had a moment the other day and I can't remember exactly what it was, but the feeling of like, this sounds like it was in a sitcom. This doesn't sound like life, and yet it really happened. I think with this book, I'm going to be trying to balance a little bit of both. I have a good friend who writes in the same genre as me, and she writes such fun, like rom-com kind of stuff. Her first books have a very kind of shopaholic feel to them. I love it. I can't get enough of it. But I simply do not write that way. I don't
Right,
have
and
that
that's
much levity in me. So I'm writing these like angsty romances, but I want to, like, I'm bringing in some of the other characters from the nursing home to do like a found family and have funny little spats and drama between them, while also having moments of talking about what it's like to be coming to the end of your life and letting go of what you had and the independence that you had. And so it's like putting all of those things in there too.
yeah. I mean, there's a richness to it. It's like sometimes you tapped into it. People sometimes imply that if it's light or entertaining, that it's not rich. And I
Yeah.
do think that readers are looking for a rich reading experience, however the author delivers it. But I think you can be light and rich at the same time. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes people feel like, no, it has to be heavy and rich.
Yeah. Very interesting. Okay. So fascinating.
So do you have your
Let me just
goals?
think if there's. Okay. So I got clarity on that. Quiet love, mini reading, and chat on live. Yeah, I think I could do that. I'm not sure what they mean by quiet love.
I like the way we can just ask questions,
It's just
right? And get a
amazing. It took me
definition.
a while to realize the full kind of scope of what Chad here can do. And it's just like, oh, okay, I could ponder this for a long time, or I could ask
Oh,
my
good.
friend here.
It gave you some examples. Jojo Moy right there at the very
Sure
beginning.
did.
Okay, so
Type of
so
release.
I think what you're saying is
Understate.
people maybe aren't necessarily pursuing it. It just gently develops, which I think your book is probably too short for gently develops.
I don't know. I'm hoping to make this one really long, like deep.
Oh, in that case, that's something to consider.
Yeah, I
People
would like it to
sometimes
be a
really like that, right?
slow burn. And it's something that I want to prove to myself, which is dumb, but I write, I'm an underwriter, but not an underwriter. So most people, it's like, oh, you wrote way too much. You have 150,000 words. You got to cut it back. And I'm just like, where's the advice for people like me where I'm like, well, I got to 35,000 words and I said the entire story and now I'm stuck.
So I
But
will tell you, I had
yeah.
a client come to me with a short story, and it is now a novel. It is a short novel, but it's a lot longer. Like at some point, I said, to her, this would work better probably as a 60,000 word novel. And she's like, oh, I can't do that. Well, guess what? She has exceeded that. So it works in the layering in and the building the scenes out. So,
Yeah, that's what I feel like for this book was I've got all these side characters. I've got this other subplots going on. Like there's a lot of places where it's going to naturally be longer than what I've usually done.
so what I always do, because I also am, and I can underwrite and overwrite depending on what I'm
Okay.
doing. So the technique that I developed to try and help myself write when I had a lot of other demands in my day was to basically beat the scene out. So, and for a long time, I did not actually realize what a scene was, right? I consumed books, the whole of the book. And so for a very long time, I wrote short stories because I did not understand how to keep the entire book in my head and write it all at once, right? So I would think about a short story. I was in a critique group and I would think about a short story for about a month. And then the night before the critique group met, I would write the short story, print it out, and bring it because it was great. We all printed out 3 copies, passed the copies around in the morning, read, had our potluck in the afternoon, and then into the evening critiqued. It was the best critique group I was ever in. People were really smart, really knew what they were talking about. And it was just great. So we did that, and and they would say to me sometimes, they would say to me often, "This is a great story, but it should be a novel." And then finally I was like, okay, I'm going to try and write a novel. But everyone always complained about my endings. I'm going to write a romance novel because can't mess up the ending. They're going to be together, right? That was my actual decision-making process.
God, I love it.
So, and then I started writing, and it was really stressful. How do and so I worked my way into writing scenes without realizing I was doing it. And I had, at the time, you want 20-page chapters, right?
Yeah,
so,
you try to be very exact.
I would try and write exactly 20-page chapters. So if the chapter wasn't 20 pages, I'd add some. If it was 20 pages, I'd be like, okay, I'll start the next chapter. And now I write in scenes, and Scrivener is the tool.
Scrivener's amazing.
Scrivener is like playing a game with your writing self, because you can make little notes to yourself. You can use a note card to keep yourself on track, have your focal point. You can put an image in there and just remind yourself, this is what the scene is supposed to feel like or look like or whatever. And then you just stick to the scene, because I'm like side, and then by the time I'm really far away from the book, I have to come back. So to me, it's like, if you really are trying to add, you look at the scene just in terms of it being a scene, and you say, how can I make the reader really experience this scene? And that works really well, because you're not getting distracted with things that are happening other places. Although sometimes you're like, oh, that's right, this is an echo of what happened in that other thing, but the way they handle it is different, right? So you put in one line that says, oh, well, you probably don't be this obvious. Oh, look at me, I handled that differently. I get a gold star on my forehead. So that is my recommendation for writers who prefer to underwrite and not put in too much stuff. I still manage to put in too much stuff, even though I do it that way. All right.
Last thing. I'm just going to ask it one more thing. Oh, okay. Arm over the door trend.
What is that? Oh my God. When I did my research for the thread I abandoned last week, there is the coolest historical romance trend of falling into the past. And so somebody falls, and then whatever or they'll walk through a wall or go through a door, and then they'll be in costume on the other side in their setting. It is really cool. I don't know how to do it, but I want to figure it out.
Are you going to get all dressed up?
Not me.
I'm
going to turn this over to my son and his costume-loving wife.
Oh, perfect. I was going to send you some videos from Carolina, who she does these really fun skits of if Jane Austen were in modern day, and she'll be all dressed up in complete accurate historical costume. So I got to send some of those to you, because that's such a good.
I did see. I really saw this because I didn't know what it was. So I asked chat, "What is this?" And I did some more exploration. I'm like, "Who's doing this?" And it's actually just a hashtag, so you can go and see all the different ways people are doing it. And one person was really funny, because there's one that's pretty simple, where they just fall onto their bed with the book. Well, so this one girl, in her TikTok was titled "Why isn't this working for me?" So she's falling, and she just falls, and the book just falls on her face, and then she's trying to stick her head in the book, hitting herself with the book, and she falls a couple different times, and the idea is she can't do it.
Oh, that's so cute. Come on, let me in.
It's like a twist on the trend that was really funny.
Oh my gosh, that is great. All right, I have to figure out what the heck this is, so let's see. Book talk, he leaned against the doorframe. Oh, okay. So this is like taking those like cliche lines that you find in romance novels and trying to see what it would look like in real life, because often it's like, he growled and you're just like, what? What exactly does that mean? I wonder how I could modify this for my characters.
They're having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah. Yeah. As in most romance books, the man is supposed to be like 75 feet tall.
Yeah, they're doing too many. I mean, I like that, but they're doing too many at one time.
Yeah, see, I got bored and walked away, so that is a sign not to do that. Don't lean right now, you won't regret it. So this is like actually doing it with your husband, but I have to think about how I
So
could
he's trying.
modify this.
Oh, so it must be a cliche
From
thing
romance
that
novels.
guys do.
Yeah, I think in romance novels they
books.
get, yeah, exactly. And so they're like, what would this look like in actual real life? Oh no, what did I do? I did it again. Crap. I closed the tab. Okay, I'm back.
You're back. That scared me. Oh, that was because you.
I closed the
switched out.
tab before switching back over to one that was active. So yes, I have to remember
Okay.
not to do that. But anyway, I've got a few to work with here. So yes, let's switch over to you.
Okay, I think this is the right one.
What did you think about the stuff that I sent you last night?
I thought that was interesting. I'm not working. I did not pre-populate with that yet. I like that it's simple. I like the
We could talk about it later if you want. I don't want to put you on the spot.
yeah. No, so here's the thing. Yeah, right. So my brain is still a little bit fried from watching the kids losing the dog yesterday. Let me just say. So I wanted to actually turn that into something, but not yet, because for me, my focus really needs to be on the quantumized career. It's like the most important thing.
Yeah, that's coming up fast. Okay.
Yeah, that is hitting me in the face. And I just finished going through the manuscript and getting it to a place where it's perfect for ARC, for advanced reader copies now. And it took me forever. And I still have a couple questions for my co-author, because we have these graphs and I'm like, I don't see a place for this. We had to redo the graphics for it. And grumble on the production side. I realized I actually need to do this in InDesign. I love Vellum. Vellum is wonderful for almost everything. But we have these worksheets that are just a little too complicated. So we did them as images. And we're having trouble making them size right and show up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I could spend another 1,000 years on this, or I could just...
If you know how to use InDesign, then yeah, that's the thing to do. I mean, it's kind of like how I do most stuff in Canva, but every once in a while I really need the Photoshop.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to, I mean, I started designing for a work, and I was using PageMaker, which is what turned into InDesign. So I have a knowledge of it, but InDesign has gone way beyond my capabilities.
Yeah, it's probably been improving and changing over the years. I mean, I used it once 20 years ago, but...
Yeah, but the book is designed. I mean, I understand flow, and I know that you can nudge and put things much more nicely. And so that desire has been growing in me, even though I have no time for it. So I decided, this is going to work for the ebook. And I'm going to give myself the time while we're marketing and selling this book to get a really nice version of the interior of the print book. And it will take time, but it is worth it, is what I decided.
Yeah, I think so.
So I'm really excited about it. So what I decided, I just clicked on marketing goals because I have a really small marketing goal, but it's also tough. I want to get advanced review team members for this book. We have an application form, and I want to get 10 applications for the review team on my application form. That's a very modest number.
It is.
And I'm like, is that enough? But it's good enough.
Well, you know what? If you if you aim for 10, you can always overshoot it.
Yeah, I don't mind if I get 15, but if I only have 5, then I want to do a little bit more, amplify things and see if I can get those 10. Okay, so, and then I'm going to go vertical, which is kind of scary because it means I have to do a big number. And I'm going to do media because, and I also told it I'm going to be looking at LinkedIn. And can you see it?
It's so hard to read. Like, if I get this close, I can. I wish I had a way to, like, blow it up for people. There should be a way to do that, but, or you can. Yes, that helps. That helps. Thank you. I'll have to remember to do that on mine, too.
It looks ridiculous on the screen, but okay.
It's perfect over here.
I'm going to focus on LinkedIn and Blue Sky because I'm also trying to, like, be present on Blue Sky more. Okay. So, a personal post, a short story-driven post on LinkedIn about why I wrote the book and the kind of reader that I want for the early review team. So this is nice because you know what? Isn't that like so simple and plain and obvious? But I never considered.
And especially with nonfiction, we don't usually consider looking at giving the inspiration behind it.
Can't you tell?
Oh, it's like I had a podcast interview with somebody who was showing me about like how to get cold audiences to buy faster, and like when he would demonstrate it, I was like, oh yeah, like of course. Like once you say it, it's like, oh yeah, duh. But before you say
does it ever occur to you?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I'm still working on carousels. So we'll see how that goes. But and I don't know what a blue sky thread. Oh, I know what a thread is. It's when you do a couple different things.
Yeah, like they reply to each other.
I've been thinking about doing that because those attract my attention. So I think I'll do like a blue sky thread on the 5 surprising mindset shifts quantum thinkers use to navigate career change, which I will change that a little bit. But I like the idea because if you make our book takes you through making these mind shifts. And if you make these mind shifts, you look at everything completely differently. And this, I think, would be really good for me to get the information out. So I'm excited about that. No idea what a native video is.
That's like where you record it in the platform and not like...
You sit there and talk. Okay. I don't have to wear Native American headdress.
Please don't. Oh God, you'll get the wrong kind of attention.
Do not know what Native Irish ancestral folk wore, but I'm not even.
I guess it's probably not the costumes my daughter wears for Irish step dancing.
I don't know.
I think they've gotten pretty over the top. But
beautiful. I love Irish step dancing.
We just went to a performance. She's been doing it. Like amazing. 2 days a week for the whole year, and she's only 6, but like they had a recital and they had the older kids performing too, and amazing.
Okay, I'm imagining the 6-year-olds performing. It must have been so adorable.
I have some pictures and videos. She's so sincere and so terrible, and it's just adorable.
I mean, because that's like, I'm sure that all the enthusiasm and energy was there. It's just that precision.
Yeah, and remembering which direction to go and what steps. She didn't bump into anybody. She's improved a lot. I mean, doing 2 days a week for a whole year, like she's come a long way, but she's still 6.
I'm sure if I got up there next to her, she would outperform me like crazy. And people would be like, okay, get off the stage, Granny. Okay. All right. So I like this idea. This actually makes perfect sense. I'm going to do it. And I like that it reminds me to use subtitles and a clear call to action.
Very important.
To leave off. So I will ask it what strategic hashtags, but I'm not going to ask that yet. Okay. All right. So it wants me to boost my best performing post or video on LinkedIn. I might consider that this week.
But is that going to be a post on LinkedIn that has to do with this book? Do you have one where you can actually see whether it's performing well?
I'm going to consider it performing well if I get a couple of hand claps.
Well, see, they also have you can ask a peer with 10K plus followers to share it. That's another idea.
Well, so I actually have a group I'm in that is actually exploring, looking at helping each other get out of the, like nobody's looking at my post thing.
Okay.
So I might actually, instead of paying to boost it, I might actually just do an influencer share that way, a freebie.
Yeah.
Because there are people with, I mean, I don't know how anybody gets 10,000 followers.
I know.
But you know what? Again, it pushes you out of your freaking comfort zone.
And look at that. Pitch a piece to entrepreneur or fast company. Like, woo! Those are big.
So I want to pitch Wired. So that is what I will do this week.
Very nice. Yes.
I have loved Wired magazine for ages. And I knew that I wanted to pitch it, and I haven't done it. So I will pitch Wired. And all of this requires me, I'm going to say, it requires me to have the arc all ready to deliver, which it's really close, but I need one more review. I'm going to review it in ebook form to make sure it looks okay. And I have to have the book up on the retailers, which is, but I have all the metadata. I've used ChatGPT to give me, good description and all this other stuff. And speaking of good description, like what you're saying, I could change my book descriptions to be better and clearer about what the story is about.
It's like what you were saying last week about, like, you're so close to the story, you know it so well, so you don't really know when you're trying to condense it into 2 paragraphs,
No, I've had other people write my description for me. And over the years who, professionally do that. And it changes, right? That's the thing. Like, if you've had your book up for a while, you actually really need to refresh that metadata. It's not forever metadata.
Yeah.
And it's every time you do, it's like you put yourself on the rack again. It's ridiculous. But you know what helps with that? Good old Chad. And he's like, you're like, no, I could never say that about my book because Chad is very, very, this is the best book ever. This is better than sliced bread.
Yes.
This book will make you fall in love and want to change the world. I don't know. But anyway, that is something that it's like, I know. That's like the cobbler and his kids, right? So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I struggle with that too.
So, this is what I'm finding when I get these suggestions. Everything requires me to like up my game just a little bit everywhere, And so it's taking more than 2 hours something. This would only take me 2 hours to do what this just says. And so I'm happy, this is good. But in order to make this work like I want it to work, I'm going to have to spend probably 8 to 10 hours doing other things on that support this effort.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because those are great. Like with your thingamajigger, which I want to talk about more, but first I want to actually get a game plan. And we're getting up to 10 o'clock. So I don't know if you stop automatically or not. So,
I don't think so. I think we can stream really as long as we want to. I don't know what happened last time because that was not right at the hour. That was like an hour and 11 minutes and then it shut down. And I think it had to do with my internet connection. But anyway, I'm good to keep going for a little bit. I don't know about you.
Okay, good. All right. So, so we have So we have the bingo card planned for the quantumized career, and I
It looks good.
know what I need to do to support that. So I feel really good.
Now let me
And
ask
I'm going to
you
do.
a separate
Mhm.
question. I have a friend on LinkedIn who is a career coach. He is like a super awesome human being, really nice. Would he be a good advanced reader copy person for you? Like, is that the
Well,
kind of person
actually,
you're
he
looking
might
for?
be. So we're reaching out for two different kinds of
You're looking
reviewers.
for blurbs
Like,
too, right?
so some people would be, yeah, would be the what you would call people who are like, yes, this book is going to has changed the way I'm thinking about looking for my next job, right? Or I got laid off and I'm looking for my next job. But for people who work with people in this situation, we're calling that a leverage partner
Gotcha. Yeah.
kind of review, where we would actually promote that up a little bit, where we have their picture and a quote from the review and really use that to kind of, say things about the book that we feel like doesn't come right from the author. Yes, we can say this book is great, but
Yeah.
we
Okay, so
wrote
I'll make an introduction on LinkedIn for him and you could take it from there and see if he's a good fit for
So I
something
very
like
much
that.
appreciate that. And this is the kind of thing that I'm not doing enough. You remind me, I should be asking for this. So, but again, as you know, I do occasionally do things like just randomly message people about stuff like this. So,
That's okay too.
having an actual intro makes it warm and good. Thank you for suggesting that. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Because that's the kind of thing I need to do, and I am always hesitant to do it.
Yeah. Well,
But now that I have my book together,
and being in networking, like for being small business entrepreneurial people, like we've been doing plenty of networking. We've got a lot of people that we're connected to, so yeah, it's like don't be afraid to ask who do you know that you can introduce me to that would fit with this or that. And yeah, the warm intro is nice to have.
well, so I'm going to return the favor um, and ask you. But first, I'm asking you a question, because we have gotten used to these, Zoom type workshops and things. And you do, I think I might know somebody who might be interested in perhaps having you do a talk.
Ooh.
Um, I would definitely, like to suggest you to her for the way that because, um, so just a little background. Pre-pandemic, I used to go to an in-person small group of small local business owners, and the conversation was about, how to market, get the word out, collaborate, work together. And they were all different kinds. A lot of them had actual real
Like a
stores
storefront.
or,
Yeah.
entities and stuff. And I would say that every single meeting, somebody would say, how do I get people to my website?
Please, I'm trying to help you.
Because
Let me help you.
because I had a great conversation with someone who actually runs a tire store. And she's like, people only need tires at certain times. So she's trying to figure out what content. Her question really was not, how do I get people to my website? It was, but that's not what she thought it was. She
Yeah,
was, how
that's
do
where I'm
I
having
write
trouble with
content?
connecting the marketing. So, what are people actually asking? Tell
So
me.
she was saying, what do I write on my website to get people to come to it? Which, of course, if they have to come to it first in order to
Yeah, that's
read
what
the
a lot of
stuff.
people like don't understand. So, it's like I talk about
And for
traffic, but they don't know
her,
what that means.
yeah, no, they don't. But for her, I think she kind of did. If you use the word traffic with her, she would have understood it, especially that she did tires. But it's like, for a tire store, people are not going to, likely, not going to just randomly pop in on the tire store for to see what they're talking about this week, right? You start looking at tire stores either when your tire blows, or you don't pass inspection, or you know it's about time. Like there's those people who are like, oh yeah, I've done this
Or
many
like
miles.
it's
It's
almost
time to.
winter and you need to switch out for snow tires because we live in New
But
England.
there's really specific times that you do that. So your traffic solution, I watched your video, would be perfect for someone like that, because you could say to her, all the people care about when they're coming to your site is, how do I make the right decision for my car? And there's a lot of content in that. And what really matters for you is to organize it and use the right words so they can easily find what they're looking for, and so that you pop to the top when people are looking for those search phrases, even if you haven't spent a ton of money on it, right? So you can kind of make it clear that they don't want to. A funny story about, the people who work in the shop or something is nice, but that's not what is going to make people buy your tires. But it's hard to know because you're trying to figure out, well, we want to be friendly, we want them to come in and kind of know who we are, which is very valid.
Yeah, there's
right?
a place for that.
So, but you could do that by combining. I tried to explain this to her, but she was having a hard time wrapping her mind around it. But it was like, you could have, okay, our receptionist has a story about how she needed new snow tires for her, and this was how the guys helped her figure it out, right? So now you've got the receptionist there, so it's a friendly person who's actually buying tires there, or maybe taking their advice and go buying tires till they're cheaper. Who knows? You don't have to put that part in there, right? So you're serving both functions, but it's the information that people want. It's like, how do I make this decision, right? And there's specific things. And so what I see with people who, especially businesses, is they want to explain too much detail before people are ready, and not put it in that context of like letting people digest it slowly because it's new, right? And then, but you also have your people who know exactly what they want, right? But then you've already got that information there. They're already checking you against the other places. So it's the people who are looking for that friendly contact that you want to feel like, hey, this is a place I can trust to answer my questions and make sure I get the right tires. So I feel like your process allows for someone to actually do that. Like, we want a friendly feel. We want a no nonsense feel. We want you to think that our people, are like tire gods, right? So you may tap our wisdom for a price, whatever it is, like we do Maseratis. So anyway, I really think that,
Yeah.
that
Okay.
if you do like a talk up like that with the generalized, I would love to connect you with somebody I know who is doing. She puts together workshops for small businesses for her enterprise, and if you happen to want to come up to Maine and do it in person, that's also a possibility. But I don't know what traveling is like for you, so I can't.
That might be fun. If the timing works.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's the thing. It's like, but I would say now that the pandemic is fully over, you might want to consider doing that locally.
I have 4 friends who currently have COVID.
I didn't mean.
I know what you mean. Yes, that we're like.
I meant that we were actually
there are events
starting
happening
to actually gather together in real. I think. Yeah.
I offered
Zoom
something like that at the
has gotten
library,
so
but
good.
again, it was like the follow-up is lacking. I need to actually keep on top of asking the same place and asking different places to make sure that they actually saw it, stuff like that.
But small business groups exist, and they're hungry for what you're doing. So, I mean, I
I would
can
love to
connect
do
you
that. I could even do
with
on the
my
spot,
people.
like answering questions and customizing, because I'm pretty fast at thinking on my feet with what people need to get attention to their businesses.
Yeah, I mean, and it is, that's not bad, but even just a generalized, you know,
Yeah, to get the
this is how
concept.
you drive traffic.
Or like, this
So,
is what foot
so
traffic online is. If they're like people who have storefronts, they understand the concept of foot traffic. Like, this is what it looks like online.
yeah, that's true, and we do call it foot traffic too. So I guess I feel like it's not traffic that is the issue. It might just be the wrong time of year, or the you just haven't reached quite the right audience yet. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm going
I
to keep
mean,
up with
nonfiction is
it. I'm not
tricky.
going to completely drop it, but I'm doing better. My business mastermind leader had some really nice things to say on Thursday about, like, I think since I started the ADHD medication, that maybe it has been easier for me to not go all or nothing, but to like keep a few flames tended in the background while I do other things, which would be a really nice change. I hope that that is true, but that's what she was observing. So,
And I do think that the stage of life that you're in, with the caretaking the parent part, and I know they're very independent, but still, you've got your eye on them. You're noticing things, and and the children in the stages that they are, where they're doing a bunch of different things. That's got to make ADHD go off the rails, because you have to be paying attention to all those things, and that's just your personal life, right?
yeah.
So I think this game is perfect for people who have ADHD, because it just says it's just these five things. Although our ADHD brain knows, like I said, oh yeah, but in order to do this, I should have this, right? But
But this also
I
helps
can also be
organize it
like,
all, where I can make my list of what do I need to do, and it's like super clear where it
and I can
fits.
do, what do I really need to do, right? Because I could repeat this, you know, I can slowly build that foundation, that, or the fix the broken pieces, or strengthen them, or whatever I need to do. And because I'm going to do this every week, right? So I can say that to myself, and I get that little bit of security. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you got that reflected back to you. But I'm also glad that you mentioned that, because I think as people who are trying to get the word out and are looking for work, we should always be thinking not only what can we get, what can we give. So I appreciate that you reached out, and I instantly thought of somebody who would actually really love what you're doing with the traffic book. Really, really love it. And has an
Awesome.
audience that would benefit
My
from.
mom is trying to be supportive, and it's so sweet of her. Like, she asked me this morning, like, like, if I know somebody in marketing, what would I say about your book? And I'm like, no, if they're in marketing, they're not the right audience for the book, but thank you. Like, I'm looking for people who are like clueless about marketing.
So, has your mom lived in this area for a while?
20 years in Concord, 20 years in Lexington, 20 years in Waltham, and grew up in Leicester, Western Mass.
So, here is how she can help you, and she will love this. There are groups of women who have businesses, or just get together to listen to talks and stuff like that. And if she knows anybody who's in one of those groups, or could recommend you to do a presentation to small business owners, or
Yeah, I
your
could
mom's
give her
probably not
like a
going to
little
get really
prompt
great.
sheet of like, if you run across somebody, this is like how you can ask them if I can do a workshop. Yeah.
Yeah, you can just let them know that your daughter is a whiz at this, and she can do that, and that would make her happy, because And yeah, give her a real talking sheet, talking points.
Yeah, because it's so hard for people to understand what I do. I was trying to explain it to my new therapist, and she what a poker face. She was just like nodding along like she totally understood when I was talking about building sales funnels. And the next week she confessed that she had to Google it after I left.
And she probably needs one of those too.
She probably does. Exactly. Yeah. Every day I meet so many people who desperately need this, and I'm like, how do I tell them that I can help them without coming across as too aggressive and markety?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, answer that question. I wonder, that would be a really good, like, when you're up for it, right? Maybe, later, couple months later, months from now, is what I'm trying to say. I love that I'm being so clear. Like when you have fewer things on your plate, or certain things, like you're marketing a lot of stuff right now, so I'm trying not to add to the overwhelm.
Yeah.
But I actually see you as being really good at speaking to the smaller businesses and being able to really independently pinpoint what they can do. Yeah. And I think that would be a wonderful outlet for you. And I know there's all these groups, and I'm not good at finding them. They find me. But in your area, there must be a ton. And we're talking about, a group of, 50 small business owners who belong to this very local little business group where they're trying to support each other. Like in my area, there's a Bangor, is the big city. And those businesses who, line up and down Bangor, when they can help each other, it really does make a difference. And so they'll create a group, and then they'll be too busy to go to the group, so it'll die. Then they'll create another group. So some of these groups actually survive and thrive. And I just think
answering that question made me think about this other custom GPT that the person that I just interviewed for my podcast has. And I haven't processed or edited that yet, so it's not out, but the link to this is going to be in that podcast, and it's making a pitch that makes that clear path between what people are asking and looking for and showing them how your solution is going to solve their problem.
That is as tough as writing a good book description that doesn't go into too much detail, but really makes the right reader go, this is the book for me.
Yes. So
somebody created a custom chat for that?
Yes, it's so cool. So
I got to hear about this. Are you going to do a video on it?
I'll send you the link.
That you interviewed?
Oh yeah, I guess I should. I mean, the interview with him is going up at some point when I edit it. But I can also share the link where you can get access to this. This is his lead magnet. You put in your email address and you get access to it. And I'm like, there's so many ways I could play with this, So of course,
definitely, even just trying it and reporting your results on it or whatever. Yeah. Okay, oh no, this is great, but I want to see the podcast too. That's
yeah, oh my goodness.
I loved your one that Robbie did, and I liked some of the clips that you took out of that.
Yeah. Oh, I did it again. Yeah.
That's okay.
I'm like, when I'm listening to people talk on the podcast, I'll be like, okay, that needs to be a short, Yes, gold.
I know, and it's great. I mean, and they're so clear. I really like what you do on YouTube. I think you do a really good job on it.
Thank you. I'm bringing it to your YouTube channel. We're getting a lot of shorts views and very slowly subscribers. We're getting there.
Yeah, and we have to do a working session to figure out that thingamajigger, because there's so many.
Yeah, what's weird about it is, like, on the back end I have access to everything. It's the okay, so let me show you what's happening. So here I am, where if I'm in like the studio part, I can do absolutely everything. But then if I'm on YouTube itself, then my notifications become the notifications for the email address that it's associated with. And then if I want to like subscribe to someone, it's grayed out. I can't do it. And it tells me you're not allowed to do that. And I can't put things on a watch later list because the watch later list will be the one that's associated with this email address. So it's like, yes, I can manage all of the videos on the channel, but like that going out and interacting with people part is kind of missing.
Okay. All right. That is really weird. And I don't know if that's...
I mean, I think it's just something that YouTube hasn't thought of as something that you would need to do as a channel manager.
And you can't do that through Studio. You have to do that.
I can do it through Studio if it's comments on our videos. But it's the fact that I'm going out and looking for videos being created by people who would be ideal to watch our videos and getting their attention by interacting in their comments. And then I can't see the replies to that.
So I probably, that's a really good question. Okay, so now that I understand what the problem is, I will look at it and see if I have the same issue. I should be able to subscribe, I think.
Yeah.
But it could be, a permissions issue. The only thing is, it's like, because I have two-factor authentication on, it's just going to be
complicated.
a real pain in the neck.
Like, I don't want to make you give me your passwords and things, but I also am like, I don't want to make you do all the work of replying to the comments that I'm going and making.
Yeah. No, I can share through LastPass. That's not actually an issue. But it is, I think the two-factor authentication still happens.
Yeah, so we might have to, like, do it together or something. So.
Yeah, but for now, we can do a workaround. If you want me to subscribe to channels, just tell me.
Okay, maybe I'll make a list of ones that would be good to, like...
I'll do that.
Okay.
But it's not immediate, like, and it's not ideal. So figuring it out, we could figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right. That's ridiculous. As a manager, you should be able to do that. Maybe I need to make you manager in YouTube. I thought I did.
I thought you did
I don't
too.
know.
I don't know.
All right,
but we're going to focus on our book marketing. We're going to solve this in due time. It's not the biggest deal.
But you know what? The reason I'm like, shouldn't be talking about this on Twitch. And it's like, you know what? This is the stuff that stops you from doing the marketing.
Yep. This is the real raw stuff.
It's like, oh my gosh, this is a big snarl and I don't know how to solve it. And it's like, okay, but we have marketing that we can do without solving this problem. So we're golden, but we will still try and solve this problem.
Yep, that sounds good. So, I want to thank anybody who's hanging out with us, watching the replay, watching live. We play book marketing bingo 3 times a week. You can watch to see how it works. You can also join in, get your own bingo cards, get access to this custom GPT. So all the information is down below the stream. And we'd love to have you interact and also come back.
We want to make this, we're on Twitch because we want to make this feel like a game for us and for the people who are watching because they're curious. So if you have any suggestions, if you're like a avid gamer and you're like, you should be doing this when this happens, let me know.
any how to use Twitch and make it funner suggestions, we're all ears. And yeah, we're gamers, but I think the people on Twitch are even more so gamers. So give us all your ideas.
I'm a Pokemon Go gamer, and Seeker's
I used to play World of Warcraft. I don't make the time for it anymore, but
no, that just takes over your life.
Yeah, before I had kids, I could play it with a boyfriend, or if I was single, just play it and get immersed. But like, I can't really get immersed anymore because I just have too many responsibilities piling up on me.
Yeah, exactly. You do not have that luxury of time when you retire.
When I retire, when the kids are grown up and out of the house.
Yes, that will be the time. Then you can get back into World of Warcraft. What would it be? What would World of Warcraft look like?
Yeah, or what will have taken its place? What other MMOs are there? My husband still does, Baldur's Gate and Diablo. There was another one that came out recently. He still goes back to Skyrim. I bought Skyrim before we were married and hated it, but I couldn't return it because I had bought it on Steam. And so he started playing it. He's now got 1,000 hours on it. And anytime you mention anything remotely related to like Vikings, he's like, oh, I gotta play Skyrim again. So 13 years later, he's still playing it.
Just like books, games have their fans and their haters. They're like, why does anyone like this? It's not even a hater. It's just like a bemuser.
Yeah, well, I just got frustrated because the stupid wolf kept killing me, and he'd get behind me, and I couldn't turn around fast enough, and he'd just kill me over and over again. And I was like, this is not fun.
Yeah, that's not fun. It's just not fun.
I think they took that wolf out now. There were complaints.
Oh, because other people didn't like it either?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure there are people who are really mad about that too, because they're like, no.
That's an important growth experience. Yeah.
They weren't good enough to get past that wolf. They shouldn't play.
They're not real gamers. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Okay.
Okay. Yes, let's go off and do some of these tasks.
Wednesday.
All right. See you Wednesday.
Bye.
And I have to end it on OBS as well. Here we go.